gas pump. Watch those numbers climb. You filled up just last week. You did everything they told you to. The oil change. The tire pressure checked. You even paid extra for that premium fuel. But here you are again. Your wallet's lighter. Your mileage is a mystery. And that little voice in your head is whispering, what am I doing wrong? What if I told you it's not your fault? You're not doing anything wrong. You're being lied to. By the internet, by well-meaning friends, by myths that should have died decades ago. Welcome to the Autopsy. I'm your digital mechanic, and today we're dissecting 20 fuel and car care lies that are costing you money and killing your engine. We're starting with the expensive deceptions. But I'm warning you now, the last 3 lies we expose will change everything you think you know about your car. Let's begin. We start with the lies that drain your bank account. Lie 20, the premium fuel detergent lie. The lie, using a higher octane fuel than recommended will clean your engine better.
Car, and we said, well, it's also about digital, it's about connectivity, it's about a global approach, and then it kind of...
Odyssey, this is a marketing masterpiece built on confusion. The octane rating, for example, 87, 91, 93, solely measures a fuel's resistance to engine knock or pre-ignition in high compression engines. It has no bearing on its cleaning power. The Federal Trade Commission has issued warnings against oil and gas companies for making misleading octane-related cleaning claims, stating that using a higher octane fuel than your owner's manual recommends, offers no benefit, and is a waste of money. The real determinant of cleaning power is whether the gasoline meets top-tier standards. A voluntary stricter detergent standard backed by major automakers like BMW, GM, Toyota, and Honda. A 2016 study by AAA found that non-top-tier gasoline can cause up to 19 times more engine deposit accumulation on intake valves. Case file. A client Mark drove a naturally aspirated Honda Civic that required 87 octane fuel. For 5 years, he used 93 octane premium from a non-top-tier retailer, spending over $600 extra annually. Convinced it was keeping the engine young, a subsequent compression test and borescope inspection revealed nearly identical levels of carbon buildup on the pistons and valves compared to an identical Civic running on 87 octane top-tier fuel from a different brand. Verdict: unless your owner's manual specifically requires premium fuel for knock prevention, you are paying for a feeling, not a result. Prioritize buying top-tier gasoline, regardless of the octane rating for optimal engine cleanliness. Lie 19, the pump burping lie. The lie. After filling up, you can get extra miles by burping the tank, adding more fuel after the first click. Autopsy. This burping ritual is actively damaging your car's evaporative emission control EVAP system. This sealed system is designed to capture and recycle fuel vapors. Not liquid gasoline. Forcing liquid fuel into the system can flood the charcoal canister, a critical component that absorbs these vapors. A saturated canister can no longer function, leading to a clogged system, failed emissions tests, a persistent gas smell, and a check engine light. According to technical service bulletins from Ford and Toyota, this is a leading cause of premature EVAP canister failure, a repair that often costs between $400 and $1,500. Case file. Linda had a habit of rounding up to the next dollar after the pump clicked off on her Toyota Camry. After 2 years, her check engine light illuminated with a P441 evaporative emission control system incorrect purge flow code. The diagnosis was a fuel-saturated charcoal canister. The total repair bill was $425. Her attempt to save an extra 30 cents per fill-up cost her over $400. Verdict: when the pump clicks once, stop. You are not winning. You are flooding and wrecking a critical expensive emission system. Lie 18, the tire kicking inspection. Lie. The lie. You can tell a tire's pressure just by looking at it. Autopsy. This is a dangerously deceptive practice. A modern radial tire can be 1,520 pounds per square in underinflated, a level that significantly increases stopping distance, risk of blowouts, and hydroplaning while looking perfectly normal to the naked eye. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, reports that underinflated tires are a factor in approximately 11,000 tire-related crashes annually, contributing to hundreds of fatalities. Furthermore, the U.S. Department of Energy states that for every 1 pound per square in drop in tire pressure, you lose about 0.2% in fuel economy. Case file. I tracked a small fleet of 10 delivery vans where drivers were instructed to eyeball their tires daily. A subsequent audit revealed an average tire under inflation of 12 pounds per square inch. This resulted in a fleet-wide average fuel economy drop of 3 miles per gallon and premature tire wear that required replacement 8,000 miles sooner than the tire's rated lifespan. The combined cost and wasted fuel and early tire replacement totaled over $15,000 annually for the fleet. Verdict: a $10 digital tire pressure gauge is the cheapest and most critical piece of safety and efficiency equipment you can own. Use it weekly. These lies are expensive, but the next set, they're dangerous. Lie 17. The 3000M oil change. You need to change your oil every 3000 m without exception. Odyssey. This is an outdated relic from the era of less advanced engine technology and lower quality oil. Modern synthetic oils and precision-engineered engines have rendered this interval obsolete. Most manufacturer-recommended intervals now range from 5,000 to 10,000 miles, and some European models can go 15,000 miles or more. The American Automobile Association AAA confirms that following your vehicle's factory maintenance schedule is the most accurate and cost-effective approach. Changing oil too frequently is a waste of money and natural resources. Case file. A retired couple, the Wilsons, took their 20120 Toyota Camry to a quick lube every 3,000 miles like clockwork, as their parents had taught them. Over 60,000 miles, they performed 20 oil changes. Their owner's manual recommended changes every 10,000 miles. They spent over $1,200 on unnecessary oil changes, effectively throwing away $600 without providing any extra protection for their engine. Verdict: trust your owner's manual, not a sticker on your windshield. Use the oil life monitoring system if your car has one, or follow the manufacturer's recommended interval for your driving conditions. Lie 16. The lower viscosity oil. Lie the lie. It's better to use a lower viscosity oil like 0W20 in an older engine to help it run smoother. Autopsy. This is a recipe for accelerated engine wear. Oil viscosity is not a suggestion. It's an engineering specification based on the precise tolerances between moving parts within your engine. Using an oil that is too thin for an engine designed for a thicker grade can lead to insufficient film strength, causing metal-to-metal contact. The Society of Automotive Engineers (SAP) establishes these viscosity grades precisely to ensure proper lubrication under specific operating conditions. Thinner oil can also lead to increased oil consumption and lower oil pressure. Case file. An owner of a high-mileage 2005 truck with a recommended 5W30 oil decided to help it out by switching to 0W20. Within 5,000 m, the engine developed a persistent lifter tick and began consuming a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. An oil pressure test revealed dangerously low pressure at operating temperature, confirming the thinner oil was failing to properly lubricate the engine's critical components. Verdict: always use the exact oil viscosity and specification. For example, API SNSP listed in your vehicle's owner's manual. The engineers who built your engine know best. Lie 15. The fuel-saving device. Lie. The lie. You can significantly improve fuel economy by installing a tornado air intake or similar fuel-saving device. Autopsy. These devices are almost universally proven by independent testing to be worthless gimmicks. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has evaluated over 100 such gadgets and found that none of them provide any meaningful improvement in fuel economy. Modern engine air intakes are the result of millions of dollars in research and development. They are already optimized for a balance of airflow, filtration, and noise control. These devices often disrupt the carefully calibrated air-to-fuel ratio, potentially triggering check engine lights and hurting performance. Case file. A customer installed a popular Vortex intake device promised to boost his MPG by 5. He tracked his fuel economy for 3 months before and after. Not only did his mileage fail to improve, but his mass airflow sensor also became contaminated by the device's inferior filter, causing rough idling and a $300 repair to clean and recalibrate the sensor. Verdict: save your money. The most effective way to improve fuel economy is through proper maintenance, tire pressure, air filter, spark plugs, and conservative driving habits. No pill, magnet, or plastic vortex can override the laws of physics and engineering. Lie 14. The cheap gasoline lie. The lie. All gasoline is the same. So always buy the cheapest option available. Autopsy. While the base fuel from different stations often comes from the same regional terminal, the critical difference is in the additive package. Top-tier gasoline is a licensed standard that requires a higher concentration of effective detergent additives than the minimum required by the EPA. These detergents prevent carbon deposits from forming on fuel injectors and intake valves. A 2016 AAA study confirmed that sustained use of non-top-tier gas can lead to 19 times more deposit accumulation, which reduces fuel economy, increases emissions, and hurts performance over time. Case file. A fleet manager for a small business always sought out the absolute cheapest fuel to cut costs. After 100,000 miles, his entire fleet suffered from rough idling and lost power. A technician found heavy carbon buildup on the intake valves of every vehicle, a direct result of using gasoline with insufficient detergents. The cost for cleaning the valves far outweighed the minor savings at the pump. Verdict: brand loyalty matters less than the standard. Prioritize filling up at stations that display the top-tier logo. The few cents more per gallon is a direct investment in your engine's long-term health and efficiency. Lie 13. The engine cool down. Lie. The lie. You should always let your car's engine idle for several minutes to cool down after a long drive before turning it off. Odyssey. This is an obsolete practice from the era of carburetors and inferior oil technology. Modern cooling systems are engineered with electric fans that can run after the engine is off and sophisticated coolant circulation to manage heat. According to engineering data from manufacturers like Ford and Toyota, idling after a drive is unnecessary, wastes fuel, and can actually be detrimental by causing heat soak in the turbocharger if equipped without the oil flow to manage it. The most effective cool down for a modern car is simply driving the last few minutes calmly before shutdown. Case file. A ride-share driver Carlos would let his turbocharged sedan idle for 5 to 10 minutes after every shift, believing he was prolonging its life. At 70,000 miles, the turbo failed. The mechanic diagnosed it with severe oil cawing caused by the turbo's extreme heat having no outlet without the oil and coolant flow provided by the running water pump. His protective habit had actively cooked the turbocharger. Verdict: after normal driving, you can shut off the engine immediately. After severe track-like driving, a minute or two of idling is sufficient for daily use. Trust your car's engineered cooling system. Please subscribe if you find this helpful. Lie 12. The fuel. Thirsty engine lie. The lie. A thirsty car that consumes more fuel is always a sign of a major engine problem. Autopsy. While a sudden drastic drop in MPG can indicate a serious issue like a failing oxygen sensor, more often the culprits are simple and inexpensive. The U.S. Department of Energy states that underinflated tires can reduce fuel economy by 0.2% for every 1 pound per square inch drop. A dirty air filter can rob a modern engine of up to 10% of its efficiency. Other common causes include a stuck brake caliper dragging, misaligned wheels, or even using roof racks that create aerodynamic drag. Case file. Sarah was convinced her SUV's transmission was failing because her fuel economy had plummeted by 4 miles per gallon. A diagnostic check revealed no engine or transmission codes. The mechanic found a severely clogged engine air filter and 2 tires that were 12 pounds per square in low. A $25 air filter and 5 minutes at an air pump restored her vehicle's fuel economy to its normal range. Verdict: before panicking about a costly engine repair, perform the simple checks first. Tire pressure, air filter, and brake drag. The solution is often cheap and in your own hands. Lie 11. The dish soap car wash. Lie. The lie. Washing your car with dish soap is a cheap and effective alternative to car wash soap. Odyssey. Dish soap is a powerful degreaser designed to strip grease and food from plates. When used on a car, it acts with the same efficiency stripping the protective wax or sealant from your paint. The International Car Wash Association warns that this leaves the clear coat exposed and vulnerable to UV rays, oxidation, and contaminants, leading to a dull, chalky finish over time. Automotive soaps are specifically formulated to clean without compromising the paint's protection. Case file. A proud owner of a new black car wanted to keep it spotless and washed it every weekend with a popular blue dish soap. Within 6 months, the deep gloss was gone, replaced by a hazy, swirled finish. A professional detailer had to perform a multi-step paint correction to remove the oxidation and swirls, a service costing over $500, all to fix damage caused by $5 worth of dish soap. Verdict: always use a pH-neutral soap formulated for automotive paint. It's a small investment that preserves your car's value and appearance. Lie 10. The coasting in neutral. Lie. The lie: putting your car in neutral while coasting downhill or to a stop saves fuel. Autopsy: this is not only incorrect but recklessly dangerous. Modern fuel-injected engines employ a strategy called deceleration fuel cut. DFCO. When you are in gear and completely release the throttle, the engine control unit ECU cuts fuel delivery to the injectors entirely. The vehicle's momentum keeps the engine spinning, meaning you are using zero fuel. However, if you shift into neutral, the ECU must immediately resume supplying fuel to keep the engine idling. You are actively burning more fuel while coasting. More critically, you sacrifice engine braking, increasing wear on your friction brakes, and you lose the ability to accelerate quickly to avoid a hazard. The California DMV Driver's Handbook explicitly warns against this practice for safety reasons. I assisted in the investigation of a single vehicle accident where a driver's brakes overheated and faded on a long, steep mountain descent. The driver's habit was to coast in neutral to save gas. Without engine braking to help manage speed, the conventional brakes overheated, leading to a loss of braking power. The vehicle left the road, resulting in over $6,000 in damage. The driver admitted they never knew about DFCO or the safety risk of coasting in neutral. Verdict: stay in gear when coasting. You will save more fuel, preserve your brakes, and maintain full control of your vehicle. Lie 9. The AC fuel savings. Lie the lie. Turning off your air conditioning AC saves a significant amount of fuel in all driving conditions. Autopsy: the truth is nuanced. In stop-and-go city driving, yes, the AC compressor places a load on the engine that increases fuel consumption. However, at highway speeds, typically above 4,550 miles per hour, the aerodynamic drag caused by rolling down the windows creates more resistance than running the AC compressor. A study by the Society of Automotive Engineers, SAE, found that the fuel economy penalty from open windows at high speed can be greater than the penalty from using the AC. The most efficient setting for highway driving is windows up. AC on case file. A family on a cross-country road trip drove for 2,000 miles with the AC off and windows down, believing they were maximizing their range. When they repeated the trip a year later with the AC on, they found they achieved 2 more miles per gallon over the same route, saving them an entire tank of gas and creating a much quieter, less fatiguing cabin environment. Verdict: use the AC sensibly. In the city, open windows are more efficient. On the highway, closed windows with AC is often the more fuel-efficient and safer choice. These lies are expensive, but the next set, they're dangerous. Lie 8. The dead battery recharge. Lie the lie. If your battery dies, a long drive will fully recharge it and restore it to full health. Autopsy. A deeply discharged battery often suffers permanent internal damage. When a lead-acid battery is drained below a certain voltage, a process called sulfation occurs where sulfate crystals form on the battery's plates. These crystals reduce the battery's capacity and ability to hold a charge. While an alternator can recharge the battery to a functional voltage, it cannot reverse sulfation. As noted by the Battery Council International, a deep discharge is one of the leading causes of premature battery failure, significantly shortening its usable lifespan. Case file. Tom left his interior light on overnight, completely draining his 2-year-old battery. He got a jump start and proceeded to drive for 2 hours. The car started fine the next day, but a week later, it was dead again. A load test at a parts store revealed the battery could no longer hold a charge under demand. The deep discharge had permanently damaged it, requiring a premature $200 replacement. Verdict: a jump-started battery should be connected to a proper battery charger to ensure a complete controlled recharge. Even then, consider it weakened and plan for a replacement soon. Lie 7. The premium fuel fix. All lie the lie. Premium fuel can fix a persistent engine knock or pinging sound. Autopsy. Using a higher octane fuel to silence knock is merely masking a symptom, not curing the disease. Engine knock. Pre-ignition is caused by fuel combusting at the wrong time, often due to excessive heat, carbon deposits creating hot spots, a faulty EGR valve, incorrect ignition timing, or a malfunctioning knock sensor. While higher octane fuel can resist knock better, the underlying problem will persist and likely worsen. Ignoring the root cause can lead to severe engine damage, including melted pistons and blown head gaskets. Case file. Maria's pickup truck developed a pinging sound under acceleration. A friend suggested using premium fuel, which quieted the noise for a few months. Eventually, the pinging returned with a vengeance. A mechanic found the engine had severe carbon buildup on the pistons and a failed knock sensor. The cost to decarbonize the engine and replace the sensor was over $1,200, a bill that would have been much smaller if addressed when the symptom first appeared. Verdict: engine knock is a check engine warning from your car. Diagnose the root cause. Don't just try to muffle it with expensive fuel. Lie 6, the dirty engine bay judgment. Lie the lie. A dirty engine bay means the owner doesn't care about maintenance. Autopsy. While a clean engine can make spotting leaks easier, a layer of dust is largely harmless and often inevitable. The real danger comes from the solution. High-pressure washers can force water into sensitive electronic components like alternators, spark plug wells, sensor connectors. Within 10,000 m, the vehicle developed a loud whining noise and vibration. The diagnosis was a prematurely worn transfer case, requiring a $4,200 replacement. The savings on one tire cost him 40 times that amount. Verdict: on a 2WD car, replace tires in pairs on the same axle. On an AWD-4WD vehicle, if the tires are not brand new, you must replace all four to protect the drivetrain. Lie 4, the dealership service lie the lie. A dealership service center is always more expensive and less trustworthy than an independent mechanic. Autalk. This is a dangerous overgeneralization. Dealerships have factory-certified technicians, specialized proprietary tools, and access to the latest technical service bulletins. TSB specific to your brand. For complex computer, hybrid, or transmission issues, this is invaluable. Independent shops often offer lower labor rates and can be excellent for general maintenance and repairs on common models. A 2021 survey by AAA found that trust is built more on the specific service advisor and technician's honesty than on the type of facility case file. A customer with a new hybrid vehicle took it to a highly rated independent shop for a strange warning light. The shop spent 5 hours of diagnostic time but couldn't pinpoint the issue as their scanner couldn't access the hybrid system's proprietary codes. They charged $500 for the attempt. The dealership diagnosed the problem in 30 minutes using factory software, a faulty sensor in the high voltage system, and fixed it under a TSB. The independent shop was trustworthy but not equipped for that specific job. Verdict: choose based on the repair. Use the dealer for warranty work, complex computer issues, and recalls. Use a trusted independent for routine maintenance, brakes, and suspension work. Consider yourself warned. The lies we've covered will cost you hundreds. The ones that remain, they can cost you thousands. We are no longer talking about inefficiency. We are talking about implosion. These are the myths that lead to the kind of mechanical heartbreak that sends cars to early grave. Lie 3, the lifetime fluid lie. The lie: your transmission fluid is filled for the lifetime of the vehicle and never needs changing. Odyssey. This is arguably the most profitable deception in the automotive service industry. The key is in the sinister semantics. Lifetime to the manufacturer typically means the duration of the powertrain warranty, usually 60,000 to 100,000 m, not the actual operational life of the car. Over time and heat cycles, transmission fluid degrades, loses its protective properties, and allows varnish and metallic sludge to accumulate. As noted in a landmark report by Car and Driver, lifetime fluid is a myth that can lead to a lifetime of debt. ZF Friedrichshafen, a leading manufacturer of transmissions used by BMW, Audi, and others, explicitly recommends fluid and filter changes for their lifetime fill units at 80,000 to 100,000 miles intervals for long-term reliability. Case file. A 7-year-old SUV with 80,000 miles was brought in with complaints of harsh shifting and transmission slippage. The vehicle had never had its lifetime transmission fluid serviced. A fluid drain revealed a burnt smell and metallic glitter, the hallmarks of internal wear. The transmission required a full rebuild with a quote of $8,500. A preventative fluid and filter change at 60,000 miles would have cost approximately $200 and would have almost certainly prevented the catastrophic failure. Verdict: there is no such thing as a lifetime fluid. Consult your owner's manual for severe service maintenance intervals, which are often the most realistic, and change your transmission fluid accordingly. Lie 2, the pre-shutdown revving lie. The lie. Revving your engine right before you turn it off helps circulate oil and is good for it. Autopsy. When you rev the engine and immediately shut it off, oil pressure drops to zero the instant the key is turned. However, critical components like a turbocharger are still spinning at upwards of 100,000 RPMs with no lubrication. This creates a moment of extreme oil-starved friction and heat, a phenomenon known as heat soak. This cooks the residual oil inside the turbo's central cartridge, turning it into hard carbonized deposits, a process called oil cawing. These deposits can clog oil passages and destroy bearings and seals. Turbo manufacturer Borg Warner's own technical service bulletin specifically warned against this practice, stating that it can reduce turbocharger lifespan by up to 50%. Case file. A young man with a tuned Volkswagen GTI would always give it a goodbye rev in his garage after his drive. At just 45,000 miles, the turbo began smoking excessively and lost all boost pressure. Upon tear down, the mechanic found the turbo's bearings were shot and the seals had failed. The interior of the turbo housing was caked with cooked oil deposits, the direct result of repeated post-drive revving without a proper cool-down idle period. Verdict: let the engine idle for 20 to 30 seconds after normal driving or longer after hard driving before shutting it off. No drama, no revs, just calm, proper lubrication and cool down. Lie 1, the fuel system cleaning lie. The lie. You need a bottle of fuel injector cleaner or a professional fuel system cleaning service every oil change or 10,000 miles to keep your engine running properly. Odyssey. For a vehicle that is running properly and using quality gasoline, these services are almost always unnecessary and provide zero measurable benefit. Modern gasoline, particularly top-tier fuel, is mandated by the EPA to contain a sufficient baseline of detergents to keep fuel injectors and intake valves clean. A comprehensive study by AAA's Automotive Research Center found that the use of gasolines that meet top-tier detergent standards can slow the formation of intake valve and combustion chamber deposits. Pouring in additional cleaners does not provide an additive benefit and can in some cases dislodge large chunks of carbon that can cause more harm than good. These services are a solution in search of a problem. Case file. I reviewed the service records of a customer, Robert, who religiously paid for a professional fuel system cleaning service every 5,000 miles at his quick lube shop, 12 services, over $60,000, totaling over $1,400. When his fuel pump failed, the in-tank filter was found to be clogged with debris and varnish that the cleanings were supposed to prevent. The money spent on the services did nothing to address the underlying issue of a failing component. It was purely wasted. Verdict: save your money. The most effective fuel system cleaner is a consistent diet of high-quality top-tier gasoline from a reputable station. Only consider a cleaning service if a diagnostic test confirms a performance issue related to fuel delivery or carbon deposits. The Digital Mechanics Manifesto, a summary, and your roadmap. The autopsy is complete. The 20 lies have been dissected, revealing a clear pattern. The path to automotive mastery is not paved with secret tricks or magic potions, but with a return to fundamentals. The most powerful tool in your garage is not a wrench, but informed skepticism. The evidence from the FTC, SAE, AAA, and NHTSA consistently points to one conclusion. Your vehicle's owner's manual is the ultimate authority. It is the engineered truth untainted by upsells or outdated folklore. The most costly mistakes occur when we replace its calibrated guidance with well-intentioned but destructive myths. Your professional advice for lifelong vehicle health. Embrace the manual. This is your first and last resort for every service question. It contains the specific fluid types, tire pressures, and maintenance intervals calibrated for your car's longevity. Become gauge literate. A simple tire pressure gauge and a basic OBD2 scanner are your primary diagnostic tools. They translate your car's needs and warnings from mystery into actionable data. Practice proactive, not panicked, maintenance. Don't wait for a symptom to become a failure. Adhere to the manual schedule for fluid changes, especially transmission and coolant and component inspections. Log every service. Source intelligence, not just parts. Choose your service facility based on the repair. Leverage dealership expertise for complex brand-specific issues and a trusted independent mechanic for general maintenance. Your relationship should be built on transparent communication. Fuel with strategy, not superstition. Your most consistent maintenance action is refueling. Make it count by prioritizing top-tier gasoline over all other claims. This single habit is a low-cost investment with a proven high return in engine cleanliness and efficiency. You are no longer a passive driver. You are a digital mechanic, an empowered owner equipped with the knowledge to protect your investment, ensure your safety, and demystify the machine you depend on. You now have the tools to question everything, verify the facts, and take control. Go forward with confidence. Your journey toward a lifetime of smarter, safer, and more economical car ownership starts now. Please subscribe.